Beijing has summoned the US ambassador over the shooting down of a Chinese observation balloon off the coast of South Carolina on Saturday. It comes as Beijing confirmed a second balloon flying over Latin America is also Chinese. China's Foreign Office described Washington's use of force as an overreaction and a serious violation of international law and practice. It said the Biden administration's decision to shoot down the balloon had seriously undermined recent efforts to stabilize China-US relations.
China has introduced the relevant situation to the US multiple times. This is also a civilian airship used for scientific research purposes, including meteorological purpose. Affected by the westerlies and due to limited self-control ability, the airship severely deviated from planned course. This is an isolated and accidental incident caused by force majeure. China is a responsible country, and we've always strictly abided by international laws and respected the sovereignty and territorial integrity of other countries. History has proven that it is the US that has often violated international laws, invaded the sovereignty and territorial integrity of other countries. We have stated that this is completely an isolated and accidental incident caused by force majeure, but the US still hyped up the incident on purpose and even used force to launch an attack. This is an unacceptable and irresponsible action.
A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson there. Well, for the very latest, let's cross live to Washington and speak to Arise US correspondent Eric Ham. Good to see you, Eric. So what's the latest on that balloon saga? Have the divers found anything yet? I understand they're searching the waters off the coast of the Carolinas for debris.
Yeah, that's right, Charles. In fact, what we do know now at this time is that some of the debris has already made its way to the FBI headquarters here in Washington, D.C. So right now, divers are off the coast of the Carolinas. We're told that it is about a 20-mile perimeter on the Atlantic coast where divers are actually searching for much of the debris from the balloon. But they are in the process of recovering it. And we do know that some of it is here in Washington. We also know that there could begin tomorrow intelligence briefings to key members of Congress as early as tomorrow. And they would start with the Gang of Eight. Now, the Gang of Eight would be the leadership of both chambers of Congress, the House and Senate, as well as the Intelligence and Armed Services Committee chairs and co-chairs. So that is expected to begin as early as tomorrow. Of course, we're watching and waiting to see if President Biden is going to address this at all during his State of the Union, which he will deliver tomorrow evening. And we know that as early as next week, there could be more additional briefings for the entire Congress on this balloon briefing. But Charles, over the weekend, the criticism and the pushback, particularly from Republicans, have been pretty punishing. And interestingly enough, not on China, but on the Biden administration's handling of this event, because they believe that the Biden administration has not been forthcoming. And also many believe that they were slow to respond and belief that they should have shot this balloon down much sooner than they did.
And Eric, that there's still a fair bit of speculation, isn't there, as to why this balloon showed up in US airspace in such an obvious way and over a sensitive site in Montana. And some US assessments have suggested that elements within the Chinese military might have launched that balloon to disrupt the Blinken visit, partly because the US and China have been aiming to establish guardrails to keep things strategically stable in the event of an escalation over things like Taiwan, for instance. What are you hearing about that?
Well, there is still growing speculation as to why this balloon was launched now. Why was this balloon over the US? Of course, now there's a second balloon that China has actually admitted is theirs that is now over Latin America. But what we do know from defense officials, Charles, at this time is that while the arguments have been made or the excuses by China is that this was a balloon that simply flew off course and made its way into U.S. airspace. We are told that as this balloon was actually traveling and as it was getting caught in various Gulf streams, it was able to move in order to maintain a steady course, which they believe shows that this is a balloon that was actually being controlled by China. And so, again, we don't know more details other than what we've already heard from the Pentagon. There has been no response from the White House on this. In fact, they've been pretty tight-lipped, which is par for the course. And I think it goes to a larger concern of this administration that simply does not seek to at least even try to control the narrative, but allow speculation to happen. But given the fact that so many people have seen this balloon and it has caused such alarm, not only with Republicans, Charles, but also just with the American public, there's still just growing questions that right now there are just no answers to. And we're waiting to see if, in fact, we will get anything from the White House today or perhaps tomorrow.
Eric, thanks very much indeed. Eric Ham, Arise US correspondent, talking to me there from Washington. And of course, we're keeping in mind what Eric said, the fact that the State of the Union address is coming up on Tuesday, and this has turned into something of a political row. The Republicans piling in and seeing some political capital there.